Hello everyone, my name is Griffin and we are back with another reaction video. We are reacting to a video that is called Why Some Gay People Don't Like Pride Parades. Honestly, as a straight person, I don't understand why a lot of people go to these pride parades anymore. Because it's no longer about pride, and as far as I've seen, it's basically one giant kink parade. That's all I really see it is. What about all that kink stuff is pride? It's like it originally started out as, you know, a show of support for people who are gay, lesbian, bisexual, and trans. Although gay and lesbian are the same thing, it's just gay. But either way, it was about, you know, showing support for them, pride for them, and all that stuff. But now it's taken one hard left fucking turn, and now it's just a bunch of kink. It's like no longer pride. And I don't understand why people bring their children to this. The children should not be going to these fucking things. But let's hear why some gay people don't like Pride Parade.
This has gotten completely out of control. Why is there a growing segment of gay people who just do not like pride parades? It's because of all of the footage that we're going to go through in this video, because honestly it speaks for itself on how deranged and decrepit it has become. And let it be known, as a black and queer individual, the LGBTQ community does not speak on my behalf or yours. In this video, we're going to dive deep into why some gay people do not like pride parades, as well as
here's the thing. The community itself, I think, is fine. It's great. It's very supportive of each other. It's the actual group that's, I think, toxic for a lot of the LGBT community. I think the group itself is toxic. The community as a whole, I think, is very good for the LGBT community. But the actual group itself, I think, is toxic. Because they don't care about their own people.
React to a bunch of clips that we've collected from across the country. And if you like this kind of content, be sure to subscribe. It helps the channel grow a ton. I'm so appreciative to have you here, because there's lots more content like this coming, as well as an entire LGBTQ playlist of content that I've made in the past.
What?
This
Here, okay, I feel the same sentiment as this guy. Here's the thing. If any other group said this sort of thing, oh my God, would they be flamed to fucking hell. But, you know, since it's the Alphabet Mafia, it seems to be okay. Telling them we're coming for your children. What the fuck? What the hell what has happened to Pride? What the fuck has happened to Pride? It's just like they've gotten together and say, let's find a way to ruin this as fast and as hard as fucking possible. And this is what we get.
a growing theme that was, even we dedicated a whole video to talk about it, because
here's the other thing. Children should not be involved in this one single fucking bit. This sort of shit should be kept away from children. Let kids be kids. Let children be children. If you want to involve them in this stuff, wait until they are fucking adults, or at least until they can actually understand this. Like 17, 18, fine. But let kids be kids. Don't involve them in this shit. If you're a parent that is involving your kids in this because you think it's good for them, you've already failed as a fucking parent. I'm sorry, but you are not letting your child be a child. They don't need any of this shit anywhere fucking near them.
So many people talk about how this isn't that common, this isn't a thing that's happening. It is, and they're literally chanting it. We're here, we're queer, and we're coming for your children. Why? This obsessive behavior that some gay people have with targeting people's children, honestly, is probably rooted in a lot of trauma on their own, and they're wanting to get back at other parents for some reason. I don't know, but it's disgusting and it needs to stop. This is why I don't even like going to pride parades. I don't like seeing the children there, and I don't like this growing segment of the gays that are also just hyper-focused on children. I don't want to be in that crowd. I don't want to be associated with that crowd, and just because of what I do behind a closed door, does that mean I have to assimilate and you know, be with that and hype that up? I want nothing to do with this at all.
Will see us. Your children will love us.
Trans rights are humans' rights. Don't be a drag. Just be a
And your children.
queen. Here's the other thing. Drag should not be anywhere near children. Those who are of a logical thinking brain that is in reality know that drag is very hypersexualized and should not be anywhere near children.
Well, join us.
This victim mentality needs to fuck off and jump off a cliff real quick. It has done nothing but damage the society and damage groups like this. It has gotten no help. It does nothing for anybody or anything.
Unfortunate, because I do think that this person is facing a lot of mental health issues, and there's no need for this person to be on the stage shaking, trembling, crying, saying your children will see us, your children will love us, and your children will join us. Like how out of touch and honestly just deranged do you have to be to dedicate your life existence as a grown man to going after others people's children to make sure they're drag queens, to make sure they're queer, to indoctrinate them into something that you're also fighting for, and saying that, you know, we're just born this way. Okay, we're just born this way, then let it be. Why are you sitting here trying to attack other people's children, trying to make them something that they may not even be to begin with? And that's not okay. It is predatory behavior that needs to be investigated and looked into. It sounds dramatic to some, but I don't know, a grown man crying on stage saying, you know, your children will love me, accept me, and join me. This has nothing, like, this whole has nothing to do with me being a gay man. I don't know why we fight so hard to just be accepted for being gay and be accepted for who we are, but then we'll have a whole month of acting like a fool like this. I don't get it.
What has been your favorite?
Yeah, I think it's stuff like this that sets back its own community like decades. Like they've worked so hard to be accepted by society as a whole. And nowadays they're doing shit like this that just sets them back. It's like they've worked so hard for this. I mean, come on. They're trying to be accepted as who they are by society, you know, for being they want to be gay and be happy and just live their life without being ridiculed or attacked or anything. And not be looked at like some deranged dumbass. And then you get people like this at pride parades that get them looked at like they're some deranged dumbass. So this does nothing but damage the pride community as a whole. The shit like this really has to stop. I got nothing against people who are in the alphabet mafia. I got nothing against them. But it's when the group itself starts doing stupid shit and force their ideals onto others is when I start having, is when I start having a fucking problem. Because just like religion, you should not force what you believe and what you think onto others just because it differs from what you believe and think. If you want to inform people, you know, inform them. Don't force it down their fucking throat and try to force them into your ideal or into your cult. Because at this point, this shit's turning into a fucking cult.
Favorite part of this event so far?
I loved going out there and seeing all the kids just living and being there with their parents of all shapes and sizes, and just seeing them having so much fun and giving them fans and throwing candy and everything like that.
Another grown man saying their favorite thing about the Pride Parade is seeing all the kids there. This is why there's a growing population of people who are correlating gays with, you know, PDF files, because the children thing, like, why can't we just drop it? Why is this grown man so happy that kids can be experiencing and seeing Pride when we're gonna continue this clip right here? They're showing what's happening at Pride, and we're gonna see the other things going on there that this man is apparently so happy that kids get to witness.
As far as I'm concerned, when it turns into something like this, it is no longer a Pride Parade. It really isn't. At this point, it is more of a kink parade. Because that's what this shit is. It's no longer celebrating Pride. It's celebrating your deranged mental disillusional dumbassery. I'd say probably for like the past 5-10 years, it has no longer been pride. These parades have no longer been about pride. And it's gone down the shitter real fucking quick in the past couple of years. And I mean real fucking quick. And it's gone so far down, it'll give you a fucking whiplash on how quickly it did it. It's so fucking stupid. And you gotta be some sort of mental, you gotta have some sort of mental disorder if you think it's a good idea for kids to come to this shit. You should not be allowed to come to any sort of pride or kink parade, because it's a kink parade at this point. Let's be real. It's no longer a pride parade. You should not be able to come to these parades unless you are 17 or older. You shouldn't, because this shit should not be for kids in any way, shape, or form.
Truly, just in a world like today, to have this right now front and center, we need it now more than ever.
Have you seen what's happening and what's coming our way?
Hey, actually, can someone call the fire department? That is too hot. My goodness.
Gosh, someone call 911.
Oh dear. Oh, wait a minute.
wow.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh,
God, for those stilts, you really gotta have some fucking balance. Oh my God, I'd be falling every fucking step.
I can't even show this is all gonna have to be blurred.
See, when it gets to the point where you can't even show this sort of shit, where it looks like it should be blurred in real life, it is no longer about pride. It's a fucking kink and nude parade. That's what it is. I'm sorry for those people who are pride out there, but you have to see it for what it is. It is no longer a pride. It is a kink and nude parade. And if you still think it's okay for kids to come to this shit, if you as a parent still think it is okay for you to bring your kids to this shit, you have failed as a parent. I'm going to say for what it is, you have failed as a parent.
Oh my goodness.
And that's another thing. I'm having to blur this for YouTube because YouTube is trying to protect children from seeing these things, and it doesn't want advertisers on these things. Yet advertisers are in public doing this, and people like this anchor, whoever this man is saying he's so happy kids are witnessing and seeing. We just heard him say that, and now we're seeing. Well, you're not seeing this. If you want to see it, you can see it unfiltered on my Patreon for $1 a month. But we're seeing a bunch of half-naked men dancing and flailing and G-strings and all of that. This is what you're happy for kids to be seeing? This is what you're wanting? This is what's representing what gay is to you? I don't want any part of it.
That dancing bear out here in front of the WeHo.
It says the live stream was intentionally frozen after a penis apparently became visible. Believable.
Oh, there it
Yeah.
is.
That doesn't surprise me one bit. There have been people who have gone full fucking nude on these parades. And people still think it's okay to bring their kids to it.
It made it on it.
You know? Hey, you know what?
What can he do?
Hey,
There
but
was
but
tape on it.
It's Mickey's, and you know, if you've ever passed by there, they're always gonna show a little.
But you were just saying your happy kids are here seeing this, and now there's men flailing around their body parts on stage in this parade.
Thunder, so you know, just a little bit. So it's just something you gotta get used to.
It's amazing that a lot of companies, especially big companies like PlayStation here, who endorse this shit. I don't understand how companies can endorse this shit.
you're welcome.
That said,
You are welcome.
I understand why you guys have to stop and pause for the fire truck going by. We saw that here just a few minutes ago.
holy
What
smokes,
the
it's
heck?
time at the Abbey.
You know-
Also very athletic float.
Very flexible.
Yeah.
You know, they're having a good time. That is the Abbey.
I'm just confused. Honestly, I'm confused on what this has to do with me and my husband. I am genuinely confused. It's like, if you want to have this kind of parade, you can. It's a free country, but don't do it for gay people. Do it for the kind of people that you are. Do it for just like a freak fest. Have a freak fest. Call it Freak Fest. There you go. But don't put me into it as a gay man. And then, because I don't like the way gay people are viewed in the United States. And I don't like how this is everything that's like, this is for gays. Like, this is not for me.
I do feel bad for a lot of people who are part of the LGBT community because they're being represented by these mentally deranged people in these parades. Because like you said, these parades are no longer representing him. They're no longer representing gay, lesbian, trans, or bi people. They're just representing kink, nudity, and freaky shit. And like he says, have a freak fest. That would be fine. But don't come out and label it a pride parade, because that's not what this shit is anymore.
Decent exposure is still indecent exposure. Doesn't matter your sexuality. Doesn't matter how you identify. Pride is not an exception to that. All right?
Yep.
Have fun, celebrate, shake some ass. But keep it cute, keep it classy, and most importantly, keep it in your pants until the circuit party or after parties afterwards. Stop targeting children. I don't understand the obsession that some of you have with directly addressing children every opportunity you get.
You know, if any other group tried this hard to get children into it or tried to obsess over children this much, they would be seen as a pedophilic group and they would be attacked for it. Yet for some reason, these so-called pride groups get a free pass. I don't get it. Where's the line for okay and pedophilic? Where's the line? Because it seems to be able to be moved at the whim of any group's choice.
I understand it's important for a child to feel loved, welcome, accepted. But when kids are your main focal point and always seem to be your targeted audience, it gives predatory. Number 3.
Oh, number 3 is, I love this man. Number 3.
I actually do like this guy too. He actually says it how it is and how reality should be. And I can probably guarantee you, he gets a lot of shit in his comments. I've never read any of his comments. I rarely see him pop up on my feed. But whenever I've seen him pop up, he has had very good points. And he probably gets flamed by a lot of people in his comments because they get the sort of pride people that don't agree with his views, even though his views are based in logic and reality.
Is this gay guy speaking facts? It's _ AJT Sanchez on TikTok, so I'll be sure to put a link below for him, but I love this so far.
Can we focus more on love and acceptance and not so much on promiscuity? I'm not a prude. I'm not Father AJ, Sister AJ over here, right? I'm human just like everybody else. We like it, we love it, we want some more of it. I'm just tired of the over-schmexualization when it comes to pride in the community in general. Listen, I'm just as grateful as the next person that I'm allowed to love who I'm attracted to, but as a community, we have so much more to offer than who we lay down with that night. From what they sell at the gift shops, to the performances, to the way people conduct themselves at Pride, a lot of it seems to be surrounding bedroom activities, and I just know there's more depth to us than that. Not a good look, in my opinion. Yeah. How are we going to demand respect as a community and expect people to respect us when a lot of you don't even respect yourselves?
A word. How are you wanting to demand all this respect and you don't even respect yourself? Look at how you're acting in the street. Look at how you're shaking your tush.
It goes back to the golden rule. Treat others how you would like to be treated. So if you treat others or the community or society in a disrespectful manner as a whole, you yourself are going to get that sort of disrespect back. Respect is not, you cannot demand respect. Respect is not just automatically given. You want respect from someone or a group of people or society or whatever, you have to give it in order to get it. You can't just demand respect. I don't care who you are. You could be your parents, you could be the president, you could be the Pope. I don't give a shit. You want respect from me? You show me respect. If I want respect from you, I have to show you respect. That is how it goes. It is not a one-way street.
Look at how you're flailing your body parts. Look at how you're treating and promoting your life. Like, if this is what you want to be respected, it's not gonna gain respect. It reminds me just like the black community and BLM, and it's like you're constantly tearing down your own community. You're constantly disrupting. Ooh, this.
Oh god, BLM is a whole other can of worms.
Ooh, this topic, y'all. You're constantly like tearing down your own community, and you're constantly killing each other while screaming Black Lives Matter. Excuse me? You don't even act like your own lives matter. And that's what frustrates me about the black community. And best believe I'll be making a video on Juneteenth, because that's this month as well. Black and gays. It's just too much. It's too much. It's too much, y'all. But yes, why are we demanding all this respect, but we're not even acting like we respect ourselves? I don't get it.
When you step out and attend these events, I'll wait. Like I said, I am no prude. I get it. Have fun. Turn up. Celebrate. Let your freak flag fly at the after parties, at the circuit parties, at the nightclub afterwards. You guys know I'm a firm believer in time and place.
Period. Because best believe you catch me in the right time and place, Amir's getting ratchet. I'm sorry. Amir's getting hood. Amir's getting hood.
Pride Month is a particularly uncomfortable and frustrating month for me, and I want to tell you why. Pride Month used to be about love, and now it's about sex and attention. I wish they would understand is that I'm not speaking up because I have internalized homophobia or because I don't accept the fact that I'm gay. I'm speaking up because I don't agree with the way our movement is handling itself in the public eye, and I don't think that it is good for us in the long run.
Completely agree with that statement. That's why I make this channel. That's why I speak a lot about both gay and black issues, because I don't like the way people who are like me, whether you be black or gay, are seen in this country. And they're just so loud. I don't like the way the gay.
Yeah, usually when it comes to groups like this stuff, it is not the majority that causes the problems and makes the groups look horrible or gets them disrespected or whatever. It is the very loud and vocal minority that gets the most attention and creates the most problems for these groups and these communities. They get the most attention. They show all these horrible ways they act and everything, and they set back all these communities and groups from what they have already tried to achieve or have achieved. And they set them back years, if not decades, because they're acting so fucking stupid and disrespectful. Like the LGBT community, they've worked hard for decades to be accepted by society as a whole. And they have achieved that, but now they have this very vocal minority of LGBT people who are acting in this sort of sexual and provocative way, trying to get children, let me say it again, trying to get children into these communities, and they're setting them back decades again. They're getting people looking at them in a way they're fucking stupid and disrespectful and moronic or whatever. They're not getting the respect that they've worked so hard to earn because of the vocal minority. And it's always the vocal minority that causes the most problems for all these groups and communities.
Especially during Pride Month, act in the public eye, and how they try to represent all other gays and lump us in with that behavior. And I'm sorry, I'm not standing for that. I'm just not. That has nothing to do with me. I just want to live my life in peace, but I can't, because now when me and my husband go out in public, people are looking at us like, oh, they're gay, they must think this, 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 and this, and this. I'm trying to let it be known the same way all straight people don't think the same, the same way all gay people don't think the same. But it's hard for them to realize and see that because of how loud the gay community is, and there's not a lot of people like me, you know, this vocal and speaking out, which I get it, because listen, the hate comes, but to a certain extent, I'm trying and I'm fighting to let it be known that there's a lot of other gays that do not vibe with this at all.
I really do understand this point of view. We all long for a sense of belonging, right? And we all want our community to seem normal. We just want to achieve the same sense of equality as everyone else. So when you see members of your community acting in ways that you don't agree with, or you think are going to harm, you know, the optics of our community as a whole, I can see why you would disagree with that. The issue is that with the LGBTQ+ community, no matter how we represent ourselves or how we present ourselves optically, homophobes are still going to hate us. And I think even if we stop doing the Pride parades, if we didn't dress provocatively, if we just toned everything down, homophobes would still find a way to subjugate us.
I disagree, just because we have seen gay acceptance rising in this country. We have seen that. Are there still homophobic people, especially on the right? Of course. I just people who just don't even care the things I talk about, especially politically. They just know that I'm gay and they disagree with that and they don't like me at all. That's there. But I'm also not going to sit here and act dumb and think that I'm living the life that my great uncle lived when he was gay during the AIDS epidemic. And growing up through the 60s, 70s, and 80s, like, I'm living an entire different life. I am his dream, especially regarding being gay and open. So I'm not going to sit here and act like it is that bad, because that's the same argument that a lot of black people make. Like, well, Amir, you're still black. Or like even Jay-Z's song, The Story of OJ, you know, blank N-word, blank N-word, blank N-word, you're still an N-word. And this is giving me, you're still a gay person, which I get. There's going to be people who, no matter what, hate my existence. No matter what, they do not like that I'm black. They do not like that I'm gay. But I understand that that's just not going to go away for some people. Keyword some people. There's bad cops, bad doctors, bad lawyers. There's always going to be a certain amount of bad. You know, it's never going to be a utopia.
Yeah. Here's the thing. No matter what we do throughout the entirety of human existence, bad is always going to exist. Because where there is good, there will always be evil. One cannot exist without the other. Where there is light, there is dark. Where there is good, there is evil. That's just how it is. Evil is always going to exist. There's nothing that we can do about it. We can try and combat it, but it will always exist. So where the majority of society accepts the pride community, there will always be a minority that will always hate them. Now, we can try and combat them to try and change their views, but no matter what we do, there is always going to be some people who are going to hate and not like these sort of people. So it is something that we are going to have to live with, but it's just something people have to remember, that there is always going to be bad. As long as good exists, there will always be bad to exist alongside it. It's just the way reality is.
However, we can strive our hardest to get to that point, and I think we have done a good job at that in this country with the way that gays and blacks are now able to do and be free, when that wasn't the case, let alone 2-3 generations ago.
Like when you would go on a school trip, right, and your teacher would say, now everyone better behave because we're representing the school as a whole, even though there were only a select number of students actually leaving the school. And now I think it would be ridiculous of anyone to judge that classroom, even if those pupils were behaving badly, and to extrapolate that and say, well, that entire school must be bad. And just like that school, you can't condemn an entire community for the way that they present themselves based on a few bad examples.
It's not even the fact that it's a few bad examples, it's a lot of bad examples, and it's a lot of completely inappropriate things that you can't even get to a middle ground on. They're just things you cannot do. You cannot go after people's children. You cannot try to transition people's children. You cannot try to push and advocate for children to have the right to have a double mastectomy and be castrated. You cannot advocate for the right.
Anybody that believes that it is okay for children to get these sort of medical procedures or take these sort of drugs to transition or whatever, any parent that lets their kids go through that and before they're adults and they can make the decision themselves, you should probably not be a parent. Because if I ever have a kid, well, first of all, let me say this. Normally, that is just a stage of a kid's time. That's how they think. And majority of the time, 8 to 9 times out of 10, those kids will grow out of it and they'll go back to thinking, okay, I am a boy if they were born a boy, or I am a girl if they were born a girl. Normally, they'll go back to thinking that because that's just, how they are. They're kids. But if you let your kid go through transition because they believe they're the opposite gender of what they are, you shouldn't be doing that. Now, if I ever have a kid and they firmly believe that they are of the opposite gender that they were born and they wish to transition, that's fine. I'll support them. But I won't pay for it. I will tell them, if you want to do this, there are 2 conditions. First, you have to wait until you're 18 so you can legally make this decision on your own. And 2, you have to pay for it yourself. Because if you are going to make this decision, you have to be the one to pay for it. And you have to be the one responsible for this decision. Because down the line, if you think that you've made a mistake and you don't feel this way anymore, you yourself are going to hold yourself responsible for the decision that you made. So you have no one to blame but yourself. That's how it should be with every person. No child under the age of 18 should be able to go through any sort of transition or anything like that. Unless you shouldn't get double mastectomies or any sort of surgical procedure unless it is to save your life. Unless it is medically necessary, you shouldn't be able to do it until you're 18 or older. And you should pay for it yourself.
Right, for a child to become a drag queen and work in a strip club. You can't advocate for these things, and that's what a lot of gay people are doing in these organizations that stand for gay people. So no, it's not like there's a few bad apples out there, it's just a one bad kid on a field trip. No, honey, it's the bus. Honey, it is the school, okay? People like me, people like Clarkson, we are the minority speaking out for this growing subset of people who are actively changing their minds and becoming to disagree with a lot of stuff that is happening within the gay community. But we're not about to sit here and act like I don't have tons of content and video highlighting how this isn't a small issue that we're dealing with. It is something that's worth giving attention to.
I'm not especially flamboyant in my presentation anyway. Like, I'm not extravagantly queer in the way that I present myself. So when I see other people doing it, whether it's in pride parades or just out on the street, instead of thinking, wow, I wish they would tone it down because I don't want our community to be perceived in this particular way, I think, good for them, and I think they have the confidence to pull that off.
I think this is not correlated to what Clarkson was saying at all, because Clarkson was very much talking about the going after children and the sexuality and the sex in the streets and the degeneracy. That's what he's talking about. Guy right here, now he's talking about flamboyant men. I have no problem with flamboyant gay guys. I mean, look at me in this video. My hands are flying everywhere. Lisp is out. Hands limp. Like, I have my feminine traits, and there's a lot of gay people who do. I have no problem with the super femboys and none of that. I genuinely don't. It's just what the behavior that's happening in the streets. It's the sexuality and the coming after their children that I have a big problem with. I have no issue with flamboyant gay men. Do you? We all have different personalities, but just don't try to force these things on others and people's children. That's what we're getting to, people like me and Clarkson. When it comes to internalized homophobia, I used to have that. I used to hate the idea of being gay and, you know, not accepting myself for who I am. And I was in the closet for so long. I get what he's saying in regards to that, but I don't suffer from internalized homophobia just because I want decency in the streets, especially in front of children. That's not internalized homophobia. That's just wanting common sense. It's like I said, decency. It is wanting to be displayed for gay people for just once. Not saying that people who do drag are bad, but again, there's so much context, because now you're taking into account drag. Okay, well, what is very popular in the United States regarding drag? Drag kids, the drag queen bills, drag performing in front of children. It all comes back to the children if you really think about it. Like, especially the last few years, it comes all right back down to the children. And I don't know why we can't just drop that and see what happens when we do let the kids be kids. What happens if gay people are just focused on getting married and having the right to adopt and just being sane, normal family? How far would we go in society? We saw how far we were going. I mean, hell. Because it wasn't until the bathrooms, the trans women in sports, the child drag queens, the children transitioning, those four really key big topics that we really saw the gay community go down in turmoil and this big huge divide. And honestly, if we just left the kids alone, it'd be fine. Because for me personally,
I think the pride community, I think they were doing just fine until what he said, until they started bringing kids into it, the bathroom thing, and all the other things that he said. It started going off the rails, and as soon as all that stuff came in, it's just like, if they would have stayed the course of what they were doing and not gotten into those things, I think they would be doing much better now, and they would be seen in a much better light. Because right now they're not being seen very well because of the shit they're doing.
I want to do is just be left alone. I want the right to marry my man. I want the right to adopt a kid with my man. It's the only time I feel like gay people and children should really be a topic of discussion, is allowing us to adopt instead of letting a child just sit there in a home looking for parents. Let two wealthy gays just adopt a kid and give it the best life possible. That's all I want for me and my man. I'm sure that's a lot how you guys feel too. And especially regarding getting married, for my gays, my girlies, and my bros out there that want to buy something for themselves or for their mans, I think it's worth checking into today's sponsor of this video, Gentle Bands. Made in family-owned workshops, I'm even wearing the ring right now. Gentle Bands offers ethical and sustainable crafted rings at a price that's truly unbeatable for the quality that you're getting. Personally, I have the Tranquility ring. It is titanium and very durable, and it spins, which very much calms my ADHD. And when I'm nervous, when I'm at public events, I'm speaking, or I'm doing something, I'm able to sit back and spin my little ring because it just makes me happy that I can.
I actually used to have one of those kind of rings. It was except it wasn't just a plain band that spun on the ring. It actually had a Chinese dragon design on it, but I ended up losing it somewhere, sadly. It was a nice ring. I like those kind of rings.
And always have something to fidget with low-key. Gentle Bands offers re-engraving, resizing for a year, and a lifetime warranty that truly guarantees the quality and build of the rings that they have, and you have honestly nothing to even worry about. Even when I open the ring, it has a certificate of craftsmanship, and it tells me the date it was made, who it was made by, and the registration, which is very nice to have. And if you're someone that does a lot of hands-on work, do know that they do sell chains as well, so you can always keep your rings and loved ones close to you. And the best part is that exclusively for you, using code AMIR25, you can save 25%.
Oh, I just take my rings off and put them in my pocket. I got 2 of them I actually got from the Renaissance Festival.
Off your order using the link below or scan the QR code on the screen. Gentle Bands is here for you. Love their style, love what they have to offer, and so be sure to check them out. For the girls, the gays, and the bros out there, you would not be disappointed. Free Palestine protesters blocking the Philly Pride Parade. Are you kidding me?
This whole, I don't really understand this whole Palestine or whatever thing. I don't want to get involved into it because it's just one giant headache. I don't want to get involved. I just want to go about my day, go about my life without any real disturbances. But you know, it's just, I don't understand it, honestly. I don't get it. I know something bad is going on over in Israel, but I don't really understand the full thing of what's going on. No pride in... Does that say genocide?
This is another reason why gays don't even like pride parades. It's too political. It's too political. What are you doing here? The Palestine people and the pride and it going head and head. And it's all people on the left, which is just crazy to me. That is the majority of people who are on the left side of the political spectrum. And
okay, I haven't said it before, but I keep looking at his hands and it looks like the way his fingers bend, it looks like it's just going to bend all the way back. I wonder if he's double jointed. It just worries me because it looks like his finger is going to bend too far to the point where it's going to break. I keep looking at it.
now they're like fighting each other. What is happening? This is ghetto. This is just ghetto. Weren't y'all just with each other, supporting each other, and now you're mad because the other person is taking, I guess you're taking time and energy away from Palestine to focus on the gays, and they're like not wanting all that. These pride parades are not very welcoming of people with different ideas. It's fine if they're all for equality and inclusion if you think like them. If you don't think like them and you disagree with them, that's when you kind of cast it out. Like if you're an open...
I find it weird that there are people who genuinely believe that just because somebody doesn't align perfectly with what they believe and think, that they can't be friends or they can't be, they can't cooperate with each other. You can have different ideals, you can have different beliefs and all that sort of stuff, and you could still be friends. You could still be cordial or civil with each other. You don't have to fight and be enemies. Nobody is going to align with you perfectly. Nobody's going to think the exact same way, believe in the exact same thing as you. Not every single person is going to be like that. You could still believe in different things and be friends and be civil. I don't understand why people don't think that.
Openly like gay person who also like likes Trump and votes for Trump, oh, you get torn up at a pride parade. Torn up. It's ridiculous. And, you know, that's one of the many reasons why I just do not like the pride parades, because it's very political. You're not allowed to be yourself. See, that's what's crazy. So, but you're born this way, be yourself, accept yourself who you are, love, acceptance, equality, up until you hear my viewpoints. You don't want to hear from me. Now you're upset at me.
Yeah, it's weird how many people can't stand an opposing opinion from their own. It's like they think and believe one thing, and as soon as they meet somebody else who has a differing opinion from them, immediately they're combative. I don't understand it. What have you gone through in your life to immediately go on the fight mode? Why? Can you just not be civil with one another?
What happened to this inclusivity? What happened to this positivity? What happened to this equality? You don't hear my voice now because I don't think like you? Sure. Cool. Cool story.
Happy Pride Month. We love you, LGBTQ plus community. Slay boots, house down, gay rights. Come slay the day away and get some rainbow merchandise at our store. Yay!
Yeah, here's the thing. Companies don't give a shit. They just do it to make profit. I firmly believe that they don't give one single shit about the whole Pride thing. They just do it for brownie points and money.
Pride Month is finally over. Thank God. I could not handle that gay shit for another minute. What do we do with the Pride flags? Oh, you can just throw them away. There's not enough room in the bin? Why? Oh, you filled it with all the other Pride merchandise? Okay, well, just burn them. Yeah, no, if you can't throw away the Pride flags, just burn them to ash. We don't need that gay shit anymore. Yeah, no, Pride Month is over. Leave it in the past.
Literally, that's companies. It's all performative and woke. I swear it's so performative and it's so frustrating. It's like June 1st, yay! And then July 1st, good riddance. It's tired. It's played out. It's dusted. It's old. Hang it up, flat screen. These fake companies, and they are trying to be so progressive and equality and love me, like we love the gays, shimmy shimmy hurrah, like that man was saying. Whole time they don't care. In America, in Western societies, all the companies are like, yay, pride, changing logos, but you don't see that in the Middle East, where gay rights are actually an issue, where maybe gay rights should be the focus on, because if you actually cared about gay rights and you wanted equality across the world, you would do it in the nations that matter most. We're good here. I promise you we're good. But where we're not good is at the places that you're not talking about it, because you would lose revenue, because they'd kick you out the country, right? What's the tea? Like, if you're going to be consistent, you're going to keep it real, then do that. I would have much more respect for these companies if they were like, you know what, we're going to stand up for pride all year until these countries get it together and catch up to where we're at in this world. If they were consistent like that, if like BMW, you know, all these companies that go all rainbow in June in America, but then like they're still like black and white, like your basic logo in another country where actually you will get killed for being gay, they stood on business, you get all my respect. But when you're using me for clout, when you're using me for some quick change, and using me for a quick buck, all in the month of June, that's when you've lost me.
Oh, I remember this. This was all across Twitter for like a good week or two, because some dude decided to burn out on the painted pride flag thing that was on the street. Here's the thing. You're going to paint it on the street. You better be okay with it getting scuffed and shit, because you painted it on the fucking street where cars drive. Are you fucking stupid?
Okay, one, both sides are excessive here. I don't feel the need for us to have a giant rainbow flag on the street. The same way I don't think we need to have that big old Black Lives Matter plaza on the street. It's unnecessary. Two, with the way the gay community is hyper-focused on in 2024 and all these past years, and the things that the top gay organizations advocate for, especially regarding children. Hello, key word here. Children is why you have a lot of people upset, and just the rise in homophobia in general. So I feel like this is why a lot of people just hate Pride Month even more now. But three, really? What is this doing other than pissing people off? Like, there's ways to kind of bridge the gap and try to communicate your opinion effectively, but destroying your community, not really destroying the community, but like making burn marks and skid marks over a pride flag, this is extra. It's extra. I get it, you're upset, but like, what is this really doing, you know?
You want to take your kid to Pride, but you're afraid they might see things that they don't understand, or it might be hard to explain to them. Well, I'm a parent, and so I want to give you a couple of tips. So Pride is a celebration of the resilience of people who have historically and are currently experiencing a great deal of oppression and violence in the United States.
I don't think in the United States the community as a whole is really seeing a lot of violence and oppression.
Know what oppression and violence that I'm experiencing in this country for being a gay man, when I know there's other countries where I'll get thrown off a rooftop or stoned to death for doing what I'm doing, which is just existing as an openly gay man. What this person's probably including is this big old umbrella term, the LGBTQ plus community, specifically the TQ plus community, who is dealing with certain rights and regulations. Ain't got nothing to do with me.
Oppression and violence that originates from the state, from terrible legislation, from the police, from religious groups, and from society in general. This year, more than half of the state legislatures have considered or passed anti-queer laws.
And oh my gosh, y'all, these laws, you look into them, have nothing to do with gay people. Nothing to do with gay people. It's literally like the trans and the queers and the people wanting to do the drag shows in front of minors, the people wanting to transition kids. Those are the laws. Are there some laws that are affecting who I am just as a gay man? Yes. I'm not saying they don't exist, but majority of it is the TQ plus community, and a lot of that puts a bad rep on the regular schmegular gays, bis, and lesbians. That's why we get a bad rep, and now they're trying to take away our rights. Hence why, again, this channel exists. So I'm trying to
Yeah, I think a lot of those laws that deal with how that with what they're trying to do with the kids in these communities do need to exist, because kids, like I said multiple times, should not be involved in any of this.
show we're not all crazy. Leave the gays alone. We good. Most of us. At least the people who are like becoming more vocal. But do know, not all gay people think the same. And I'm really trying to push that narrative because I don't want the laws and the fights that people have fought, the gay people have fought for people like me to go away. I don't want that. I still want to adopt. I still want to get married. There's still things I still want to do and exist in society, and I don't want things to go away. But I also agree with some of the laws that are in this package, like especially regarding children. So it's not a blanket statement. You can't just do that.
So if you're more concerned about how you're going to explain positive sexual expression to your kids rather than our continued oppression and violence against queer people to them, then you probably shouldn't bother taking them to Pride.
Or just be honest with your children and let them know the actual rights that lesbian, gays, and bis do have, and how the TQ plus is more about expression and it is separate and it is different. Or you can do that. That's just a thought. That's just a thought from me. You can be honest with your kids, your growing kids, and you want them to take them to Pride. And why Pride is still a thing. You can let them know Pride is still a thing because a lot of these nonprofits still want that check. Why is Pride still a thing? Because the community has gotten way too big and so many people have just like hopped on the train. Like that Dave Chappelle skit. Like the lesbian and the gays and the bis were chilling. And then here comes the transgender people and it's like, all right. And then the queers and it's like, oh God.
Be Pride Month, come along with me to a Pride bar crawl hosted by
Was that a muffin with Fruit Loops?
Like, oh God.
Be Pride Month, come along with me to a Pride.
Is that a muffin with Fruit Loops? What the hell is that?
Pride bar crawl hosted by Bobby Friday.
It was either a muffin with Fruit Loops or ice cream with Fruit Loops. If you're putting Fruit Loops in, or any cereal with your ice cream, what the hell?
We got to hit all of the best spots in the city. Alora was our
Yep, okay, that was ice cream with Fruit Loops. Don't put cereal with your goddamn ice cream, people. Come on.
first stop. We had a rosé cocktail and farmers market berries. Then headed over to the Ferry Building, where some of the merchants are raising money for the SF LGBT Center and Pacific Center for Human Growth.
Red flag number one. We're gonna shop here because we're raising money to give to the SF, the LGBTQ Center, right? Sounds wholesome, sounds sweet. Again, the problem comes in when you take 2 seconds to look into the SF Center and where those donations are going and what the SF LGBTQ Center is doing. What you'll find here is that they're offering free and confidential, client-centered, holistic, gender-affirming mental health services for LGBTQ youth, primarily between 16 and 24. That's where the money's going. If it was for something that had to deal with, you know, the gays and the bis and the lesbians, I get it, but it doesn't. And that's why personally you would not find me on a bar crawl like this and supporting LGBT centers. And it's so, there just needs to be LGB centers, because I don't want this. This does not speak on me. This does not speak on my behalf. I do not like this. I do not like this idea of providing free and confidential LGBTQ youth services. Probably something that should be illegal. Why are you talking to these kids and confidentially with minors? In person or virtual one-on-one appointments, youth services, youthphoria, weekly support groups, 16 to that's disgusting.
No, if it's anything below 18, it should not be part of it. It should be 18 and older. no younger than 18. Because legally, you are not an adult until you're 18.
Leave the minors alone. But yeah, that's a quick example of why certain gay people just aren't even supporting LGBTQ centers. And you from the left's perspective, I do see why there's this growing trend of thinking that the gay people who are not in support of LGBTQ centers are suffering from internalized homophobia because they hate themselves. Honey, that's not the case. The case is you have regular gay people who understand these centers and nonprofits used to advocate for them, but now they're deviating away from the lesbian and the gay and the bi, and they're doing youth services, advocating for children to have the right to transition. And there's a lot of gay people who don't want that. So it's not even about internalized homophobia, it's just that the missions aren't aligned anymore, and it has nothing to do with me. What does a trans kid have to do with me being a gay man? Nothing. I don't suffer from internalized homophobia. A lot of gays do not suffer from internalized homophobia, especially when they're open. It's just that a lot of these centers have nothing to do with us. And that's what we're highlighting, okay? I hope this video was somewhat enlightening for you, that you can see for yourself why gay people are just not liking the pride parades. Especially regarding the video that I made at the start of this month, why pride parades are not family friendly. That is definitely a video I think you should go watch if you haven't already. It outlines more in detail, like the title says, why they're not family friendly. And it goes through a plethora of content that is advertised as family friendly, kid friendly, and it's everything but. I promise you, it's not everything but. There's a lot of buts, unfortunately. Be sure to give that video a watch. Be sure to subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And join the Patreon. It's $1 a month. Join the community over there. You get all the content early, live streams. There's so much more coming on the pipeline for that. And in general, I'm just very thankful to be here in this position. I'm grateful for the support that you all give me. I'm thankful that you guys share my work, and I'm just so honored to have this platform and, you know, really put the message out there that just because I'm gay, I don't think I can agree with the LGBTQ community. And there's a lot of gay people who follow me and support me. We're building this community together, y'all. That is speaking up louder more than ever to let it be known that we are not okay with how we are being looked at in this nation, and we don't agree with the things that a lot of the LGBTQ community at mass is pushing. As always, a big shout out to my Patreon crew. Thank you for so much love and support. It is so many members over there, growing like crazy, so be sure to check that out. As always, I hope that you're going out there becoming the best version of yourself, and you understand and know and trust that you can do anything you do if you put your mind to it. Just work hard, put in tunnel vision, focus on your path, focus on what you need to be doing for yourself, and you will get there. So with that being said, love you guys a ton, and I'll see you in the next video. Deuces.
All right. That was Amir Adams. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. I'm sorry, Amir, if I pronounced your last name wrong. That was his video, Why Some Gay People Don't Like Pride Parades. Now, let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you agree with a lot of what he said? Do you think it's nonsense? Or what do you think about pride parades now? Do you think it's no longer about pride? Do you believe that the community has just gone completely off the rails? Or do you think they're fine now? If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Make sure to go check out Amir. He seems like he does great work. He seems like he's, you know, very logical person that is in reality. Anyways, with that being said, make sure to subscribe. I post 3 days a week. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.